On January 7th, I published a video about biotech penny stocks with catalyst dates set for later in January, which both surged in price. Today, I'm sharing catalysts coming up in late March for 3 additional biotech penny stocks. The first penny stock I mentioned on January 7th was OPTN, Optinose. Ticker OPTN is also a $1 penny stock. They received FDA tentative approval on December 8th, 2020 for their chronic sinusitis drug Xhance. The catalyst date was for OPTN resubmitting their NDA needed for full FDA approval on January 26, 2022. OPTN was listed for $1.77 on January 7th and surged up to $2.93 on February 26th. This was a huge 65% price improvement. TipRanks analysts currently rate OPTN as a moderate buy with a 1-year price target of $6. What's great now about this stock is this target price currently would still be a 294% increase. Of course, keep in mind that analysts tend to be optimistic, but these types of potential gains leave lots of room for error. Hi investing friends, this is Lynn and welcome back. So let's go and review today's hot stocks. But first, if you could give this video a thumbs up in return for my efforts analyzing these stocks, it would be greatly appreciated. And while you're at it, subscribe. First, remember that penny stocks are very risky, so I only invest money that I can afford to lose. High risk versus high potential reward. And remember, this is not financial advice, but for entertainment only. The second penny stock I had mentioned in my January 7th video was Lipocine, ticker LPCN. Now LPCN has another catalyst date for late March. LPCN was listed at $1.03 on January 7th and February 12th was at $1.54 per share, which was a 56% increase in price. What's even better is that LPCN's next big catalyst date is coming up on March 28th for the PDUFA review of this drug Tolando. This is a testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT. To clarify, the PDUFA, once the FDA accepts a filing for the approval of a drug, the agency is expected to complete its review process within 10 months. The date at the end of the review period is referred to as the PDUFA date. Sometimes the FDA grants priority review status to the regulatory filing by a drug. This designation is given to therapies that could significantly improve the safety or effectiveness of the treatment, diagnosis, or prevention of serious diseases. This is a really big deal, and I can see now why the LPCN stock price has been increasing as the March 28th date approaches. When the FDA grants priority review for the drug, the PDUFA date is 6 months from the acceptance of the submission. While PDUFA dates are set after regulatory filing is accepted, the dates can sometimes slide, most often when additional data is required from the drug maker or the company submits new data that requires more time to review. Lipocine Inc. is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company headquartered in Salt Lake City, developing pharmaceuticals for the treatment of metabolic and endocrine disorders. Its primary development programs are based on oral delivery solutions for orally bioavailable drugs. The company's products are designed to facilitate lower dosing requirements and reduce side effects and gastrointestinal interactions that limit bioavailability. Its lead product candidate is Tolando, an oral testosterone replacement therapy that we are discussing today. LPCN has a shares float of 86 million shares, which is an amount that can also be fairly easily moved on good news. The stock has a small short float of 3%, meaning that short sellers have little confidence in shorting this stock. It's also encouraging that institutions own 12% of this stock. TipRanks gives LPCN a target price of $3, which is a 98% increase from its current price. So remember to keep LPCN on your watch list for their March 28th PDUFA decision. Before we continue, if you invested in either OPTN or LPCN as a result of my first video, I'd love to hear the details in the comments below. The next biotech company we are discussing today with a big catalyst in late March is Brickell Biotech, ticker BBI, listed at 24 cents per share. And this stock has an incredible analyst target price. Before we get into the details, I wanted to let you know that I just completed my first Skillshare class. If you're considering making a video for YouTube using the free version of DaVinci Resolve as an editor, this will be the class for you. My link is in the description below for this class. We'll give you a free month to try out an unlimited amount of Skillshare classes. Now back to Brickell, which is a tiny 27 million NASDAQ listed company. And this stock has a huge average daily trading volume of 7.6 million shares. So watch out for volatility in this one. Brickell has a catalyst date coming up on March 26th for its therapy, sofranonium bromide carnitine 2. This therapy's phase 3 study demonstrated that subjects achieving at least a 2-point improvement from baseline to EOT2 was 63.9%. No treatment-related serious events were reported. BBI's late-breaking results are to be presented at the American Academy of Dermatology on March 26, 2022. When I invest in a biotech company, I like to see their therapies in phase 3 or better, which is a strong indication of a solid solution. It's a positive sign that institutions own 80% of BBI, which has a shares float of 107 million, which means it could be moved fairly easily on good news. BBI also has a short float of only 2.8%, showing little interest in shorting this stock. TipRanks lists BBI as a moderate buy with an average $2 price target. This one-year target price is incredible and would be a very optimistic 724% change from the price of 24 cents currently. You can see from Brickell's drug pipeline that sofranonium bromide carnitine 2 is their therapy in phase 3, and that has been commercialized in Japan. Brickell does have another big catalyst coming up for this therapy in mid-2022 for their NDA submission. Per the BBI website, sofranonium bromide is being developed in the US as a potential topical therapy for the treatment of primary and ciliary hyperhidrosis or excessive underarm sweating. In October 2021, Brickell announced positive top-line results from the US phase 3 clinical program for sofranonium bromide gel, 15%, in which all primary and secondary endpoints were met and achieved statistical significance based on the results from the phase 3 pivotal program. Brickell expects to submit a new drug application or NDA to the US FDA in mid-2022. Previously, in September 2020, Brickell's development partner, Kaken Pharmaceutical Company Limited, received approval to manufacture and market sofranonium bromide gel under the brand name Eclock in Japan. Kaken launched Eclock commercially in November 2020, marking the first commercialization of this therapy. The final biotech penny stock we are discussing today with the catalyst in late March is InflaRx Envy, NASDAQ ticker IFRX. This $2 penny stock has been basing since the pullback in June 2019 that you can see in the Yahoo profile here. This stock has a lower daily trading volume of 226,000 shares traded per day, meaning that few traders know about this stock. IFRX has a market cap of 89 million and an earnings date coming up later this month, between March 23rd and 28th. IFRX has two catalyst dates this month for their therapy InflaRx. Their website explains that their therapies are all about controlling inflammation, which we all know is a big issue these days. InflaRx lead drug candidate, vilobelimab, is a first-in-class monoclonal antibody currently in clinical development for several indications. In a first clinical phase 2 multi-center placebo-controlled dose escalation study in patients suffering from early septic organ dysfunction, biological proof of concept was established, demonstrating its unique C5a blocking ability as well as selectivity. Vilobelimab holds large potential for treating various inflammatory diseases and specifically cancers, and is in clinical testing for several publications. This therapy has a March 26th date to watch related to their therapy vilobelimab, IFX1. This therapy is in phase 2A, for which the interim date was released on October 27, 2021. This demonstrates that 6 out of 7 patients, or 85%, showed clinical remission and closure of the target ulcer in the highest dose. The phase 2A final data is to be presented at AAD March 26, 2022, so mark your calendars for that date. The other catalyst for IFRX is for the same therapy, but this time for COVID-19 patients. Phase 3 of phase 2-3 trial completed enrollment October 12, 2021. Now the phase 3 top-line data is still due in Q1 2022, which would be the end of March, and keep a lookout for this as well. IFRX is a risky stock, as FinViz shows the stock's performance is down 59% in 2022, but IFRX has a small float of only 37 million shares, which indicates that the stock could easily move on good news. Also, the short float is only 1.7%, indicating little interest in shorting this stock. It's great to see that insiders own close to 15% of this stock and institutions own 21%. So some of the big boys are betting on this stock's future. I'd love to hear your thoughts on OPTN, LPCN, BBI, or IFRX in the comments below, or about any other stocks that you are liking right now. Remember to sign up for our newsletter in the description below as well, so that you can be notified about videos like these. Now go here to view a video that I know you'll be excited about.